Make sure you solve by doing the distributed property and then combining like terms. This is not an equation, so it is an expression that needs to be simplified. We're going to solve for C, so we subtract the 2b and then divide everything by 4. Number 3, we have to get rid of that 1/3, so we have to multiply both sides by 3. Same thing for number 4, we have to multiply both sides by 2. Number 5, we have to get the absolute value by itself, so we have to divide by 2, and then we separate, take it out and put it to a positive 4, and take it out of the absolute value and put it to a negative 4. We will always have two answers. On number 4, we take it out of the absolute value, and we go to put it to the negative. We notice we have to put it in parentheses. Oh, I think I'm just going to do it on the other panel. And make sure that when you take it out of the absolute value, put it in negative, you put that whole term in parentheses before you distribute the negative out. You must check when you have a variable on both sides of the absolute value equations. You always have to check because one of them might not work. So first I'm going to plug in 4/5. So when I plug in 4/5, it works. Now I'm going to plug in 8. And it does not check. So I take off 8. 8 is not one of the answer choices. I don't know why I'm doing this over again. Okay, this is checking from previous problem, sorry. Make sure you remember when you have absolute value is greater than 5 or greater than, it's an OR problem, and the graphs will go in opposite directions, and you have a union for your interval notation. When you have a less than, it is an and, where you could take it out of the absolute value, put it in the middle, put less than signs in between, this is a greater than, which is an OR. So make sure when you go to put it to the negative, you flip the inequality. Now make sure that you have the absolute value isolated. This is a less than, which is an and. In the previous problem, in number 10, solved it one way, and in 12, I'm going to solve it a different way. And you could do it either way. Then your final answer, you put it in a less than symbol. So you get the same answer. I think the way that I did it in number 10 was a little bit shorter than the way I did it in number 12. Okay, you had to calculate from -8 all the way to +6, and there were 14 places, and half of 14 is 7. Now you also had to put it in standard form, so you want to clear your fractions. And remember, you have to have the x on the other side, and x has to be positive. The point of intersection in the very last on the line segment where the open circle is at -3, -7. I know it's kind of hard to read that, so I put that on there. Not good. I'm going to clear my fractions here. Obviously, the substitution method is not the easiest method working this problem when you don't have a variable that has a coefficient of 1. So if you had choices, I would by far do the elimination method on this problem. And here is the elimination method. Maybe not. Oh. This is the problem over again. Okay, this is the same problem doing the elimination method, where we're choosing to get rid of our y's. You could have chosen to get rid of the x's, and you'd still get the same answer. Okay, number 20, we're going to do both methods. First, we're going to solve for y because y is the variable that has a coefficient of 1. That by far is the easiest one to solve for. You always want to solve for the variable that has a coefficient of 1, if you can. This is the elimination method. And this is the exact same equation, but this time we're graphing. And they better cross at the exact same point. The first one I graphed by finding the x and y intercepts. The second equation I graphed by solving for y put in a slope-intercept form. It doesn't really matter which method you use, but you see that they cross at the point 3, 2. This is number 22B. And some more piecewise. I forgot to put my dilation. Give me a minute and it'll be put up there. There, I put the dilation up on example A, or problem A. Now remember, when it's a shift, a slide to the right, it should be x minus 2, and then the square is outside. And this is a reflection, so we put a negative outside. Make sure you go over all of your homework quizzes that we've had. We've had a total of 10 homework quizzes. Good luck on the test.